every time I step in this, I'm like, yeah, this smells like a Lexus.
2019 Lexus ES350. I was socially distancing way before it became culturally acceptable, and this video features absolutely none of that. 2019 Lexus ES350. If a Toyota Camry and Toyota Avalon walk into a brothel wearing a business suit and a ball gag, well, this is the end result of that. Remember a few years ago when car enthusiasts and automotive consumers kept blasting Lexus on the interweebs about how boring and uninspiring their products were? Well, this is what happens when you take constructive criticism to the extreme. This isn't your grandpa's Lexus anymore, kiddos. It's your undergrads! Alright, look, I'll get all the technical information out of the way already and talk about what this mid-size Luxabarge is really like to drive. Introduced in 2018 for the 2019 model year, the 7th generation Lexus ES is the most advanced and luxurious model in the car's 3-decade history. Riding on Toyota's TNGA-K platform, the ES shares a lot of its architecture and componentry from cars like the Toyota Camry, Toyota Avalon, and their small to mid-sized crossovers, but this is arguably the best iteration of this platform. This XZ10 ES was offered in 4 trim levels for North America, consisting of the base, luxury, ultra luxury, and F-Sport trims. A hybrid model was also introduced for 2019 as well, but we aren't here to talk about that. Lexus's Safety System Plus 2.0 comes standard on all trim levels, which has as much driver nannies as the average Tesla does. If you opt out of the hybrid model, the only powertrain available is from Toyota's infamous 3.5-liter V6 engine, the 2GR FKS, which produces 302 horsepower and 267 foot-pounds of torque, and is mated to a direct shift 8-speed automatic transmission. We'll talk more about this engine later, but for now, we need to talk about the biggest elephant here in the room, Lexus. The president of Toyota Motor Corporation, Akio Toyoda, said at a press event in early 2017 that Toyota will no longer be producing boring cars, revealing the current generation Toyota Camry at the same time. Now look, I get that Toyota and Lexus have historically made pretty conservative looking vanilla beans, but Lexus has done a complete 540 here. I mean, for starters, let's look at the overstyling here, starting with that spindle grille. When Lexus introduced this face on their cars in 2012, the world shrieked in awe and horror at this design, and many people complained, saying it was too polarizing or too striking to look at. These are also the same people that also told Lexus, hey guys, your clientele is Grandpa George and Grandma Athena. The point is, whether you're boring or whether you're too much, bitches are gonna bitch. Simple as that. Personally, I find the spindle grille on this ES to be a work of art, even though it's the same face the Aliens and Predators and AVP make when the moment arises. If this is the future, then yes, sign me up, and keep on keeping on, Lexus. The proportions of this car give it the impression that this is a baby Lexus LS, but that car is on a totally different planet than this one is. So, yeah, it might not be your cup of tea, but the looks of this thing are pretty spot on. So how does that translate into the interior? 2 words: attentive architecture. The cabin of this ES is truly a commendable place to exist in. Lots of soft touch materials, excellent design cues, and enough technology to keep you and your occupants entertained for miles on end. It even has your traditional analog clock on the center area of the dash, because nothing screams luxury more than having a Vitality correspondent right in center for you to look at. The seats, which are heated and ventilated, are soft and comfortable, which is exactly what you should expect from a luxury vehicle of this stature. Overall, the interior is nice from front to back, and is more than opulent for most meat bags. There are, however, some grievances with this interior. First of all, why is the parking brake switch mounted where your knees reside? Not like it's that important, as the ES automatically engages the electronic parking brake when shifting into park, but like, that's the best location to put it in? Kind of perplexing, but anyways, that's not even the worst part of this greenhouse. No. That award goes to the Lexus Remote Tech Interface Infotainment System. So, they gave you a 12.3-inch multimedia display, and it's not a freaking touchscreen. They fixed that problem on 2021 model year ESs, but in this one, your only option is a slew of buttons and this laptop-style mousepad, which controls all of the main functions of the infotainment system, and is honestly about as bad to navigate as a blind man giving you directions. No offense to blind people or anybody really, but If the average Lexus buyer is over the age of 45 and you're using a system best learned by Gen Z and millennials, you really aren't experiencing amazing in this Lexus. Trying to browse through the various menus and sub-menus is about as challenging as going to a burrito place for the first time. Look, just give me my grains, meats, veggies, and sauces, and whip it up to some sustenance, please. No further questions at this time. If you can figure out what infotainment is in this car, then you'll be fine, I suppose. So now that you know about the specs, the interior and exterior proportions, and the minor grievances this 2019 Lexus ES350 has, what is this Japan-American Luxa barge like to drive? Here's a parable for you. Have you ever been hiking before? Well, this isn't the tale for you if you haven't, but anyways, you know that feeling you get when you finally reach the peak of your journey, whether that's the crest of a mountain, or the base of a waterfall, or the mouth of a body of water, that feeling of tranquility and serenity, that feeling of oneness with you and your surroundings, you just a vessel and the earth beneath you, and how calm and collected nature is around you. That's what driving this car is like. Push to start, slip into gear, select the drive mode for your pleasure, pop on some HD radio tunes, and set off to your destination in the real state of comfort and extravagant living. It's got plenty of power, ride quality of a land yacht, and the reassurance that you're in one of the best engineered cars on the road. I mean, really, what else could be better than that? Yes, it's not Japanese built anymore, it's built in Kentucky. Yes, the infotainment is not very intuitive and requires some accustoming to. And yes, this car is front-wheel drive, but in all seriousness, this is a truly excellent vehicle. It may not have that German flair or British charm, but when it comes to building high-quality vehicles, well, the luxury export in the United States seals the deal. 2019 Lexus ES350, for when you need to disconnect from this floating rock in space and come down to the biggest L in the universe, life. Let it shine, baby. Let it shine. The end.